Hello friends, we welcome you all to the fourth session of Unit 2 Digital Logic and Data Presentation. In our previous session, we had seen logic gates. We understood what exactly is the logic gates. Logic gate forms the basic building block of any digital circuits. We had seen three basic gates: AND gate, OR gate and NOT gate, and two two universal gates, that is NAND gate and NOR gates, and arithmetic gates like XOR and XNOR. They form the different types of gates. In the application part, we had seen few simple examples of application of logic gates where the logical decision making was the key parameter. Parity generator and parity checker was one such application. We understood parity was the extra bit that was added to the data in order to check whether the data transmitted has been received properly at the receiving end or not. Parity generator generated the parity bit. There was two kinds of parity generator: even parity generator and odd parity generator. And we had similarly parity checker, which checks the data at the receiver end and produces an error signal if there are any error in the data received. With parity checker also, we had two types of parity checker: odd parity and even parity checker. So with this brief recap of previous session, let us move into today's class. In this class, we will be looking into De Morgan's theorem, which is an extension of logic gates itself. We will be verifying De Morgan's theorem or law, first law and second law. We'll be looking into few more application of logic gates, and finally we'll be looking into sequential logic control. Of course, we'll be having a small multiple choice question session before ending this class. So Augusta De Morgan, an English mathematician, has developed two laws or theorems, can be called as. The two set of rules or laws developed from Boolean expression of AND, OR and NOT. We must remember AND gate stands for multiplication, that is, if we have two inputs A and B, A dot B is the AND operation. We are multiplying the two inputs A and B, that is the logical multiplication, that is AND gate. OR gate as A plus B. This is the OR operation with two inputs. Whereas NOT operation, if we remember, it is just the inverse operation. If the input is A, it will generate A bar. That is, if 0 is the input, it will give 1. If 1 is the input, 0 will be generated. If B is the input, B complement or B bar, B inverse will be generated. That is the function of NOT gate. It allows the input variables to be negated and converted from one form of Boolean function into the opposite form. Let us see how this statement can be understood using De Morgan's theorem. First theorem, it states that the complement of the sum is equal to product of individual complements. We must understand this particular place. Complement of the sum. We have two inputs in verifying this law. Sum, when we say sum, it is nothing but A plus B. Complement of the sum means the sum is complemented entirely. Complement of the sum is equal to product of individual complements. Again, this forms the important point once again. Product of individual complements. Individual complements are nothing but individual complements A bar and B bar. Product of individual complement, it is product in the sense and operation, so I will keep a dot here. Once again, let us try to understand. De Morgan's theorem states that the complement of the sum, that is the sum has been complemented entirely, is equal to the product of individual complements. Here we have individual complements. This complement of the sum is equal to product of individual complements. That is what De Morgan's first theorem states. This we are going to prove using logic gates and truth tables. Truth table, how to generate? We know we will take input A and B. Truth table is nothing but the output verified for all combinations of input. We will take AB, we will generate A bar, B bar, and finally A plus B, then A plus B whole bar, and we will get the product of A bar and B bar. We will be verifying whether they are equal or not. The logic circuit for De Morgan's first theorem is given here. We have seen A plus B whole bar, A plus B whole bar. If we remove the bar, this A plus B is nothing but OR operation. This OR operation has a bar, as an inverse, means it is nothing but combination of OR and NOT gate, therefore it is the NOR operation. Here it has been shown separately an OR gate, this is the OR gate, and this is the NOT gate. They combine to form NOR gate. Simply we can represent it like this: A and B, two inputs, OR gate, bubble at the end will give us A plus B whole bar. This is logically equal to A bar into B bar, A bar dot B bar. So here we have A passing through NOT gate, it will turn to A bar. B passing through the NOT gate, it will turn B bar. A bar and B bar passing through the AND gate will get converted into A bar dot B bar. Now let us verify this using truth table. We have A and B, these are the possible inputs, and we'll generate, or we will try to find out A bar. A changes to A bar here, that is all zeros turn to 1 and 1 turns to zeros. Similarly B, from B we will get B bar, 0 turns to 1 and 1 turns to 0 here. A plus B whole bar, add A and B, then complement it. Let us have this A plus B separately here outside. A plus B, I have it here. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Again 1 plus 0 is also 1. 1 plus 1 is also 1. So now we'll try to complement it. A plus B whole bar, here it is A plus B whole bar. 0 turns to 1 and 1 turns to 0. 0 and 1 again turns to 0. This is A plus B whole bar. So we have finished the left hand side. Let us move to the right hand side. So right hand side is nothing but product of A bar and B bar. So A bar is here, B bar is here. Let us try to find out the product. 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into 0 is 0, 0 into 1 is also 0, 0 into 0 is also 0. So therefore the left hand side is verified with the right hand side. We have verified the De Morgan's first theorem. Now let us look into De Morgan's second theorem. The second theorem states that the complement of the product is equal to the sum of individual complements, the exact opposite of the first law. Here it states that the complement of the product means A dot B whole bar. There is definitely difference between complement of the product and product of individual complements. Product of individual complements is different from complement of the product. Complement of the product has this whole bar taken on the product is equal to the sum of individual complement. Here it is individual complements. Individual complements means A bar and B bar separately, they are summed together here. So we will take the sum of individual complement A bar plus B bar. So we have the complement of the product is equal to the product of sum of individual complements. This is the De Morgan second theorem. Let us try to verify this using truth table. As always, we have A and B data, all combination of inputs we have tabulated here. We will generate A bar and B bar, that is A transformed into A bar becomes 0 turns to 1 and 1 turns to 0 here. B bar similarly, zeros, all zeros becomes 1 and 1 becomes 0. And now we will find out AB whole bar. AB whole bar is written directly here. Let us try to find out AB first and later we can find out AB whole bar, because AB whole bar. AB whole bar cannot be found out from A bar and B bar. So here should not get confused. First find out A and B, then transform it into AB whole bar. So here from this logic circuit you can understand A and B are the inputs. It passes through the AND gate first. It passes through the AND gate and becomes AB. A dot B, it becomes A dot B first, and then it passes through the NOT gate in order to complement the output. Now we will find out AB. A and B, 0 into 0 forms 0. Similarly 0 into 1 is 0. 1 into 0 is again 0. 1 into 1 is 1. Now we will complement this, that is after passing through the AND gate till here, this gets complemented. 0 turns to 1, 0 turns to 1, 0 turns to 1 and 1 turns to 0. So this output we have tabulated here. Now let us try to find out the sum of individual complements, that is the right hand side of the circuit. The logic circuit is shown here. A bar, individual complements, A turns to A bar and B turns to B bar here, and then they get added up. We must understand this well. So we have A bar and B bar here written separately. Now we will make the OR operation with A bar and B bar. 1 plus 1 is 1, we know. 1 plus 0 is also 1. 0 plus 1 is also 1. 0 plus 0 is 0. So therefore the left hand side is same as the right hand side. So we say De Morgan's second theorem is also verified. The next application of logic gates is the coder. So as the name itself says, coder always changes data from one type to the other, because the microcontroller sends signal in the digital form, which has to be coded to get a particular desired output level. So in the simple example of traffic light that is taken here, the coder controls the 3 lights using only 2 inputs, that is switch A and B. The lights red, amber and green can be turned on only using these 2 inputs. So here in this coder circuit we have taken 2 NOT gates and 3 AND gates. AND gates, we know it is for multiplication. For example, if this is A and B, in order to get the red light glow, that is the signal to stop, amber to get ready and green to move. In order to get a stop signal, red light, The signal given is A0, B0. The switches A and B will be in off state or low state. I will make A and 0 and B 0. Now let us try. A passes through the NOT gate and get transformed into 1, and B also transforms into 1. So 1 into 1 is 1, red light glows. Similarly, this 0 and 0 passes through these gates. Amber, 0 into 0 is again 0 only. This light doesn't glow. Again same AB comes to the green and light AND gate, and here 0 into 0 is 0, so therefore light will not glow. Now in order to make the amber glow, the inputs are A0 and B1. A has to be 0 and B has to be 1. When A is 0, after passing through this NOT gate, let us say this is the first NAND gate, first AND gate, second AND gate, and this is the third AND gate. When this signal A passes through the NOT gate, 0 turns to 1 here, and this 1 turns to 0 here. Carefully we must observe this NOT gate is connected to only this red light AND gate and to nowhere else. Now 1 into 0, this is for multiplication. 1 into 0 is 0, red light will not glow. Now signal A, see here, it jumps and comes to this point, green. This A, after passing through this NOT gate, a jump has been taken to signal light amber. See, 0 after turning to 1 enters this amber light AND gate. We have 1. B is already 1, it straight away enters the second AND gate. So 1 into 1 is 1. Now what happens at the AND gate number 3? 0 enters directly, we have 0 here, and 1 after passing through this NOT gate turns to 0, and this enters here, 0 into 0, 0. Therefore we get the light amber to glow with this set of inputs. So for green light, the combination is A1 and B0. Similarly, you can verify what happens when A is 1 and B is 0. So we get the green light to glow. So this is the fundamental concept behind the traffic light signal and how coder circuit works in order to get the 3 lights glow with only 2 possible inputs. And next we have code converter. Many a times there is a need to change data from one type to the other, because the microprocessor system most probably gives output in the form of binary coded decimal, and which need to be transformed into a suitable code. For example, if we have to drive a display, let us say, this binary coded decimal has to be transformed into suitable code in order to drive a 7-segment display. So for this purpose we use the term data decoding, that is converting data from one code group to the other. We can convert similarly a binary coded decimal, a binary number or hexadecimal number into individual active output representing the group. A decoder circuit has m output lines. Suppose we are getting data in the digital form, let us say, we must have 0 to 9, that is 10 output lines. See here we have m output line, it is indicated. Suppose the decoder that we are using gives the output in the decimal format, therefore I must have 10 number of pins. If the input is the 4-bit binary code, it is enough that the input has only 4 number of pins. So that is why we say a decoder has n binary input lines and m output lines with one line activated. only one output line gives an output from a particular word input code. Let us try to understand this last part with the decoder circuit itself. So here we have the 7 segment display here represented. With this we'll be able to represent all the digits from 0 to 9. 7 segment display, let us try to understand. This is for one segment, second segment, third segment, fourth segment, fifth, sixth and seventh. So this is the 7 segment display. They may be represented by A, B, C, D, E, F and finally G. So in order to drive this, suppose if the digit 0 has to be represented, except G, all other 6 segments has to be powered on, and for 1 only B, C can be powered on, B and C, and for 2 we can power on A, B, G, E, D. That is enough. Similarly for the 9 digits also. So here we have the decoder circuit which has n input lines and m output lines. As an example, we are converting a 4-bit binary coded data into its equivalent decimal output which drives the 7 segment display. Suppose a 4-bit binary data is given, let us say 0010, a binary coded data maybe. Its equivalence may be the digit 2. When the data 4-bit binary coded data enters the decoder circuit, the decoder processes the data and gives the output through one particular line. That is, if the decimal equivalent of this binary coded decimal is the letter digit 2, so this digit 2, that is this particular pin, only gets activated and this will be sent to this by 7 segment display in order to represent 2. So this is how the decoder circuit works. Decoder 74LS244 is the typical example which drives the 7 segment display using the 4-bit binary coded data. So next we'll be seeing the further application of logic gate, that is the sequential logic circuit. The sequential logic system or logic circuit has some form of memory. Before understanding what exactly this memory is, let us try to understand the combinational circuit. Two or more logic circuits get to form combinational logic circuit. We have seen this already. Combinational logic circuit are simply the logic circuits, two or more logic circuits combined together, which works on some input and generates the output without any control. So these are the combinational logic circuit. I will write as CLC. It takes certain input and produces output. The output doesn't depend on any other parameter except the instantaneous input. The output is just the function of instantaneous input. But in many cases, we need the output to depend on few more parameters. For example, if we take the automatic washing machine first starts with, let us say, in general it starts with the cycle wash. First it starts with soaking, next it goes for washing, first soaking, washing, next rinsing and finally drying. These are all the 4 cycles. At any particular point of time, this microcontroller has to remember its past data, that is the past outputs, without which the entire cycle cannot be executed sequentially, because here we have to follow certain sequence. That is, after soaking, the next operation is washing, and after washing we have to go for rinsing, and finally we will be going for drying. The cycle cannot be interchanged. This has to be followed in a sequence. Therefore, this sequence has to be remembered by the microcontroller. When we say remembrance, definitely we need some form of memory. This memory keep tracks of the previous outputs. Once soaking is done, the output is soaking has been completed. Next, the controller or the circuit goes for washing. Once it is done, it has to go for rinsing, and finally finishing rinsing, it goes for drying. So therefore perform the performance or the execution of this program definitely depends on memory, which keeps track of all the previous records or the outputs. Therefore this output of this logic circuit will be fed into the memory. All the past track records will be remembered by this memory, and which gives input along with the other inputs. So this both the inputs from the external device and from the memory combined to get the output. Therefore output here is the function of the instantaneous input as well as the input from the memory. So here, when the output signal depends on earlier values of the input, a sequential logic system is required. It accepts logic signals from external inputs and also from the memory. Output is a function of both external input and the memory that we have seen here. Output is function of both the external inputs and the memory. So here the sequential logic diagram is shown here. So here we have the combinational logic circuit. This combinational logic circuit is nothing but combination of two or more logical circuits. It may be AND gate, NOT gate, whatever, depending on the requirement. We have external inputs. External inputs depend on the level of water, the temperature, the amount of detergent, etc. This is the output. We have the memory. The memory has certain inputs from the combinational logic gates which keep tracks of the past data. This past data is fed back again to the as an input into this combinational logic, so that the output depends on the inputs, external inputs and the inputs from the memory. So this is how a sequential logic works. We have two kinds of sequential logic. One is synchronous and asynchronous. So asynchronous, in asynchronous type, the same clock pulse signals are used. So one example of a synchronous type is the flip-flops, and in asynchronous type we study latches. So in our next session we will be looking into what exactly flip-flops are, and we'll be getting some idea on them. So in today's class, in order to summarize our discussion, we have studied De Morgan's theorem. We had two De Morgan's theorem, first theorem and second theorem. We have seen both of them. We had seen application of logic gates, we had seen coder, decoder, code converter, etc. And finally we saw sequential logic system, so which is combinational logic with memory. So with this understanding, we'll move on to few multiple choice questions. First question, the coder widely used to control 7-segment display has dash input. The decoder widely used in order to control the 7-segment display has 4-bit binary coded data. So it has 4-bit binary coded data. So it is option C. So second question, in sequential logic circuit, the output depends on. So just now we have seen the output depends on present input as well as past input. It not only depends on the past input and not only depends on the present input, it depends on present as well as the past input. Present input is given by external devices, past input is given by the memory. So option C is the right answer for question number 2. Third question, sequential logic circuit contains no memory, at least one memory, no combinational logic circuit, and none of the above. We must remember sequential logic contains combinational logic gate. So option C is violated. It contains combinational logic circuit and also has memory. So definitely option B is the answer. At least one memory it has. B is the correct answer for third question. Fourth question, the logic circuits whose outputs at any instant of time depends only on present input but also on the past outputs are also called as in the option A combinational circuits, option B sequential circuits, option C latches, option D flip-flops. So here the logic circuit which depends on present as well as past input, it is sequential circuits, because combinational circuit doesn't depend on past input, it is only depending on the present input. Therefore the answer here is B, option B. How many AND gates are required to realize this expression y equal to CD plus EF plus G? So how many AND gates are required? How many AND gates are required? This means how many multiplication operation, logical multiplication operation is used here. So here we have CD and EF. G has no multiplication operation, so CD has a multiplication operation. Suppose let us say we have inputs C and D here, so this has to be ANDed using one AND gate and EF, and for E into F, multiplying E and F, we must use once again an AND gate for E and F. So they both get ANDed together and finally we can have an OR gate in order to add them, and after adding these two we can take the input G and we can use one more OR gate in order to get this expression. So the number of AND gates used is 1 and 2. So option D is the right answer. So it is enough to use 2 AND gates. Option D is the answer for fifth question. Sixth question, to change the data from one type of code to another, dash is used. So a direct question. Option A is coder, option B is code converter, C both A and B. It cannot be both A and B because both has a different purpose. So option B, code converter, is the right answer. Code converter changes the data from one type of code to the another. Option 7, question 7, two or more gates combined to form, very simple question, two or more gates combined to form sequential logic control, combination logic circuit, coder, and none of the above. So sequential logic controller has combinational circuit and memory. Combinational logic circuit is nothing but combination of two or more gates. Therefore B is the right answer for seventh question. So we thank you and we meet you in the next session with further topics. Thank you all.